legit threat in the West?
A threat, yes. Legit, no. I do not believe they can beat Golden State. And I know their record is 2-0, and they've beaten them by an average of 18 points a game. But
by 17 and 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't believe it, Skip. I don't believe that in a 7-game series over a 2-week span that OKC can beat them because they don't make enough threes. I know Russ can get hot. I know Paul George can get hot, and you never know which Carmelo Anthony you're going to get. But I believe out of the West, the only team that could probably throw something, a monkey wrench in the Golden State's plans to going back to a 4-title finals is Houston, because they got 2 dominant players in Chris Paul and James Harden, and they can make the 3. Skip, since Robertson's been hurt, they've been rotating Abrinas, Ferguson, and Houston. Ferguson played less than 14 minutes, and he was a minus 30. That's only the 4th time in the last 15 years somebody's been minus 30, and they won. That's not good. And then you struggle against Sacramento, and this is what we see. We've seen, I would have more confidence in OKC if they struggle or were losing to Golden State as opposed to struggling and losing to some of these bottom feeders, Skip, because that's what we've seen. They play well against Golden State, they play well against Houston, and then Sacramento will get them, or then Brooklyn gets them. No. If you want to show me, you got to show me some consistency. I'm not saying that you got to win every game, but Russ, he hit a great shot, but when he struggles, Skip, he really struggles. And I don't believe your star, and he is the star of this team. He is the lead. He's the Lennon of the Beatles. He can never struggle. If he struggles, I don't believe Paul, in a series of this magnitude, because it'd be in the Western Conference Finals, I don't believe Paul George and Carmelo, if Russ struggles, can carry them home. So I do not believe are they a threat? Yes. Are they a legit? I can see them knocking them off. Skip, I don't see them knocking them off. Rockets, I can see knocking them off.
I believe the Thunder are a much bigger threat to Golden State than Houston is.
Really?
And I agree with all of your facts, but not your takeaway.
Okay.
Oklahoma City plays way down to the level of competition. It took an incredible clutch shot by Russ last night to save them at Sacramento. They have 10 bad losses already this year on this schedule, 10 bad ones. And again, they'd already lost at Sacramento once. They almost lost twice. They've lost to Dallas twice. They've lost to Orlando, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Phoenix. These are horrible losses by a legitimate threat.
Yes, correct.
Okay? But to your first point, they broke through twice against Golden State, and it wasn't close. They crushed Golden State at Oklahoma City, and that was like breaking through the psychological barrier for Russell against Kevin Durant, who just owned him a year ago, as you recall.
Right.
As they faced off for the first times since, obviously, Kevin left Oklahoma City. And in this case, I think Russell went into the 2 Golden State games this year thinking, at least I have some star presence on my left and right. Now, maybe they're not star quality. Maybe they don't give you star performances. But I will say, in that second game at Golden State, Paul George scored 38 points. Yeah. Melo got hurt early in that game, so it was just the 2 of them basically doing it. But look at Russell's lines against Golden State. He went 34, 10, and 9, and then he went 34, 9, and 9. That's sensational against, obviously, the best team in basketball.
Right. And Clay is a great defender. He's giving it to him.
He's trying to give it to him. Yeah, Clay's trying to give it to him, and it's not working. He's giving it to Clay. So, to me, they have figured out how to play Golden State, but they haven't figured out on a nightly basis how to beat Sacramento. And I don't love it, but I will say this about Russell Westbrook. He has become the best clutch shooter in basketball. And it's really not even close, because now he's got 3 game-winning shots in the last 5 seconds this year. And over the last 2 years, he's got 7 in the last 10 seconds that are game winners. And that's what, 4 more than anybody else. My God, I mean, he just keeps. When I'm watching Oklahoma City, if he gets the ball late, I'm like, that'll go in.
But you know, Skip, the unsung guy is Steven Adams. Skip, he's become a monster. Last year, you and I beat him up because we didn't see the way, because the way he played to get that $100 million contract, we didn't see that last year.
Well, we know he's capable, you know.
This dude is a monster.
Okay, so against Golden State, he had 14 and 12 the first game and 14 and 10 the second game. Well, that'll work because that's enough.
Because now you got, and plus you're getting 38 from Paul George, you're getting 34 from Russ, and because you got to beat them on the board, Skip. You can't give them second chances because if they. Watching the game last night, the Clippers gave him second chances, and then the Steph drains a long three. And then Clay drains a long three. Then KD.
And by the way, Steve Kerr's still having lineup issues because he took Zaza. He benched Zaza in favor of JaVale last night. Yeah.
Well, he had to because Zaza can't keep up with Jordan. You got to be able to keep Jordan off the glass. And early on, they weren't doing that. And that's why the game was close. Once they found a way to keep him off the glass, but it's hard to. You don't need to worry about keeping him off the glass if you got to take the ball out the basket, because that's what was happening. They weren't missing. Steph couldn't miss. And if he can't, like you said, I mean, he's hitting end of the first, end of the second, end of the third. Man, that's demoralizing. Because every time you're hearing, swish, swish, what am I supposed to do about that, Skip? And
Austin Rivers kept turning to his dad going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
The dude 8 of 11.
Yeah.
And we know what type of shooter he is. But, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's just like, for real, dude?
So he hits 8 of 11 threes, and yet it took that to hold off the Clippers, who scored 127 in that game. It ended up being a 7-point game only because Steph hit like 3 late daggers. Every time they would cut it to 5, he'd say, nope, watch this. It's over. So they still gave up 127 points, so they're vulnerable, and I think the Thunder have figured out how to play them. I'm not going to predict that the Thunder will win this game tomorrow night, but I will bet you it will stay close. I will bet you it will be a late close game, and maybe it'll be Steph's game again.
Is it in Golden State?
Yeah.
Okay, man. But I mean, KD only took 15 shots. He's 7 of 15. He's like on cruise mode. He's like, y'all don't need me tonight. Hey, Steph, go ahead and handle that. And that's what happens. Is that they like we don't care who gets hot. It's just that we're gonna find a hot hand. And Steph got it going early. He kept it going and didn't have to worry about anybody else. But Skip, the thing is, if 2 of the 3 guys go off, what are you going to do? Because they can go for 80 between the 2 of them. They can go for 90 between the 2 of them. Nobody can match that firepower. I know Paul George had a great game with 38, and then Russ went for 34. But Skip, those are anomaly games. The likelihood of that happening. We know KD and Steph, or Steph and Clay, or KD and Clay can go for 80, go for 90. Because they can heat up like that. And then you look up, you're like, dude, they 20 for 30 from the 3-point line, and then what?
So now I'm back to the murderer's row that can be the Western Conference playoffs.
Yes.
And I am looking at a team that I brought up on this show, and I'm going to bring them up again as another threat to Golden State that could at least soften up Golden State before they get to Oklahoma City. It's the Utah Jazz. I'm going to say it again.
No.
They've won 11 in a row. You don't care. You know what? You should check them out. You should check them out tonight against Portland because they have an incredibly favorable schedule over the next 14 games. And I'm not going to say they're going to win 25 in a row, but I think they're going to win like 23 out of 25.
Minnesota could possibly soften them up with that big old lineup that they got because they go Anthony Towns, they go Taj, they can go Jimmy Buckets. They can go Wiggins. So a big lineup, and you can pound them on the glass. But Utah, you like the Stifle Tower, huh? Rudy Gobert.
No, I like the young killer who is Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, so
that's who I like.
Okay,
Did you see what happened in the dunk contest?
Yeah.
He just walked out and said, you know what? This is over. I got this. I'm taking it over because I have arrived in the NBA. I did not see this.
Larry Nance Jr. should have won.
Huh?
Larry Nance Jr.
No, it was Donovan Mitchell. He took it over.
Yeah, but he did a dunk that did just a couple of years ago.
Actually, Dennis Smith was the best dunker in the contest, but he didn't pull off the most clever dunk. But the point is, Donovan Mitchell, I couldn't see him at Louisville last year because everybody gets lost in Pitino's system. It's just a bunch of cogs playing full court press, and all of a sudden, I start watching him early this year. Do you realize Donovan Mitchell has 2 40-point games already and 4 30-point games?
Yeah, he can put the ball in the basket.
This is serious. He is made of the right stuff.
You think Utah?
I'm just telling you, every time I watch him against the Spurs, I look back and say, wow.
Maybe the Nuggets with that 3-point shooting and Jokic, maybe Minnesota. But Skip, really, when it comes down to it, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be Houston and Golden State in the finals, in the Western Conference Finals. You know that, I know that.
I don't know that because I do not trust James Harden or Chris Paul when the lights are brightest.
Where's that? Watch Utah.
Watch.
Portland. Watch Dame Lillard and CJ drop by 80 on Utah tonight.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, we gonna
Stifle Towers, he's third in defensive win shares. I don't know. Ricky Rubio's playing at a high level.
Really?
You don't even know who Joe Ingles is. You ought to check him out. You ought to check him out. He can play.
I know he's left-handed. He be knocking them corner threes.
Yeah, and why is I'm So Hood now a Cavalier? Why is it?
Because
they wanted to clear the decks. He was a powder. He wouldn't always play hurt. And they said, you know what? You can have him, Cleveland.
Yeah.
You can have him because we got Donovan Mitchell. They wanted to clear the deck so Donovan could just take this team over. And they needed a Jay Crowder just to be a cog on Utah.
Well, he ain't no cog.
Well, we'll see.
He ain't not, well,
3-and-D.
Hopefully, he'll do better for them than he did for the Cavs. Maybe they'll get that. Maybe they'll get that Celtics Jay Crowder than what they had in Cleveland. Because you already know, Skip. You could say I don't know what happened to Jay Crowder. I don't either.
Utah is not so hood anymore, and they're fine.
Well, we up out of there.
They're fine.
That's all right. Okay, you laughing. You talk about who watching tonight.
There's no hood in Utah.
Watch it. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, we had to go. Watch it tonight against Memphis.
Yeah.
Drop about 5 threes on them right now.
Yeah. We'll see.
Well, we'll get to see the Thunder and Golden State on Saturday.